wonderfully tall and handsome like the image of a god. That's how Priam describes Achilles in the Iliad. Homer presents him as the supreme warrior, the fastest, sweet-footed, the strongest, the most beautiful among the Greeks, imposing presence sometimes described as gigantic in battle, a physical and heroic ideal. And yet, according to rumors circulating strongly on IGN, Screen Rant and social media, Nolan is considering Elliot Page to play Achilles, probably as a ghost in the underworld. Even so, a trans actor who is 1.55 meters or 5.1 feet tall and around 50 kilograms, which means 110 pounds, representing the greatest warrior hero in Greek mythology? Really? Hello dear viewers and welcome back. My name is Amilcar, I am a sci-fi and a fantasy author and this is 4 Cents. I'm gonna be honest with you. I wasn't planning on making a second video about Nolan's The Odyssey without new real information or a new trailer, but sadly the rumors keep coming. Hollywood being Hollywood, it wouldn't be surprising if they are true. Beyond the casting itself, what's concerning is the pattern. Hollywood no longer just adapts myths, it has appointed itself as a moral authority. It has created a system of incentives that rewards and almost forces following a specific agenda if you want recognition, especially at the Oscars. To be eligible for Best Picture, the Academy requires fulfilling at least 2 of these 4 representation and inclusion standards. A. On-screen representation. A lead or significant supporting actor from an underrepresented group. At least 30% of secondary roles filled by women, racial, ethnic minorities, LGBTQ+, or people with disabilities. Or a main story focused on one of those groups. B. Creative leadership. At least 2 department heads or 30% of the creative team from underrepresented groups. C. Industry access and opportunities. Paid internship for underrepresented groups. D. Audience development. Marketing team with underrepresented people in key roles. And why I'm explaining all this? Because Hollywood being Hollywood, there is a really high probability that all the rumors are true. And if that's the case, the Odyssey, it's gonna be a shit show. And that's the awful truth. And this is the thing. This is not organic diversity, it is institutionalized quotas that prioritize checklists over quality and fidelity to the source material. And that's all, because that's all they care. That's all they care about. Now, having made that clear, just as I explained it in the previous videos, why a woman of color shouldn't play Helen of Troy, considering what she represented in Homer, I'm going to explain what Achilles represents. As I said in the previous video, in the Iliad, Helen is described with epithets that bring her close to divine, white-armored, comparable to goddesses. Her beauty justifies a war between 2 entire peoples. She is not just beautiful, she is the ideal standard of Greek womanhood. In the same way, Achilles represents far more than a simple character. He's the archetype of the Greek epic hero par excellence. I'm gonna repeat it myself. The archetype of the Greek epic hero. And this is the thing. Most of you, I'm sure that most of you have heard about or watched 300. Okay. Now tell me, pay attention or remember how were the soldiers, the Leonidas soldiers, the 300. And you're gonna tell me that for them, the embodiment of I wanna be is Elliot Page? Are you fucking kidding me? And yeah, I know 300 it's a movie based on a comic. I understand that. But you need to take this in consideration. That's the archetype of the soldier, of the Greek soldier from that time. You can take a book, a history book, pay attention to the archetype, to the how they were physically. And the actors were really close to the real soldiers. Because this is the thing. Achilles embodies arete, excellence, at its highest level: superhuman strength, speed, physical beauty, courage, and combat skills. He is the greatest of the Achaeans. His grasp, menace, structures the entire Iliad. He consciously chooses immortal glory, kleos, over a long life. And despite being semi-divine, he is profoundly human, proud, vulnerable, capable of extreme grief, and ultimately of compassion. In short, while Helen is the ideal beauty that provokes the war, Achilles is the ideal of heroism that defines how to fight and die in it. He is the mirror in which the Greeks saw the supreme ideal of masculinity and human greatness. And I'm so sorry, I have nothing against trans people, but to be honest, Elliot Page is far from this description. And this is one of the things that pissed me off the most. The problem arises when many activists demand that only a trans person can play a trans person. Okay, I understand that. Or only a person of color can play a character of color. Again, I understand that. I think that it's insane, but I understand why they are asking for it. But that rule magically disappears when it comes to European mythological or historical characters. Then suddenly any casting is acceptable. This shouldn't be the case, not at all. In adaptations of existing works, the actor should stay as close as possible to the physical and cultural description in the original material. If they don't want to respect the source, they should create new original stories and characters. There they have total freedom. What we are seeing is lack of creativity, lack of imagination, and above all, lack of talent. That's why cinema is full of remakes and adaptations and second, third, fourth parts. Because choosing by ideological quotas displaces real talent. I experienced this myself while looking for a literary agent. Several agencies only accepted material from BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, People of Color writers, regardless of quality. I'm not saying that I am the best author in the world. I'm saying that I experienced that, so I know how it is. And that's exactly what's happening in Hollywood. That's why they prefer to modify classical works instead of creating something new and powerful. Because they can't. They absolutely can't. In conclusion, one of the greatest epics in literary story is about to hit the big screen, and everything suggests it could become one of the major flops of the season. At least, that's what I would like to think, but that's not gonna happen because normies don't care about this kind of topics. Until cinema faces the same pressure that gamers are exerting on their industry, we will continue to see mutilated adaptations and political agendas placed above the story. So, get ready for the worst. And in the specific case of Nolan, the Odyssey, you better get ready for the worst and expect something even worse. And that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed the analysis, don't forget to like, subscribe and share it with others. I love to read your thoughts in the comments. And tell me, have you seen the trailer? What do you think about the casting rumors? Do you believe they'll respect the spirit of Homer, the original story? Once again, thank you so much for watching. My name is Amilcar and I'll see you on the next 4 Cents video. Bye bye.